away from me.
So guys, welcome. And I want to thank Mr. Fayuz for being in the studio and zooming over the spices of beautiful, honorable, representable person that's representing District 32. Welcome to the studio. How are you? Also, when I heard your story, it was very inspiring because I was listening to about all the your dad driving medallion and your story that you are really a representative, a candidate for this district. Guys, put your hands together for Felicia Singh. I want you to share it live and you listen to her story because, believe me, her story might apply to so many of us. And there's always a battle. Someone is always fighting a battle, but you know what? You're not fighting it alone. There's always someone else fighting that battle with you. And her story is so inspiring that, you know, let's rock and roll. Okay. So we have, what's your inspiration? Let me say congratulations for running for District 32. I'm not sure, week after week we have all the candidates stopping by, but I don't have the other two that you're running against, because I've seen you out there. Yes. And I always focus on the person who is doing the legwork, who is in our community doing the affairs. And if a friend of mine like Mr. Fayuz is, standing hand in hand, shoulder to shoulder with someone, I know they're right. I know they're doing the right job out there. So it's not always everybody stopping by, but good sources.
Right. No, absolutely. Great validators, I would say.
So I will take recommendation from great people that I love and respect from our community and their leaders. So thank you for being a representative and, running for District 32. What was your inspiration?
Well, first, again, my name is Felicia Singh. I am a teacher and proud daughter of working class immigrants. And really, my parents are the inspiration for my run for office. I've had been living a working class life my entire life. And what that really means is you're working paycheck to paycheck. Sometimes you have unstable employment. And sometimes even our working class families accrue a lot of debt. And what's missing in city council are the stories of our working class communities. We uplift New York City. We're the ones who build the roads, literally. We're the ones who are owning small businesses. We're the ones who are working really hard in driving New Yorkers around, like taxi drivers, bus drivers. Right? Exactly. And yet there's no city legislation that really centers our hard work and our pain. And so I thought, who best to represent our community than someone who's navigated systems that don't work for our communities, for our families. And that's why I'm running. Someone who fit the same coin, who are struggling the same way as everyone else. Exactly.
And you know what inspired me the most is your home ownership story. Yes. That is so sad to see what someone, as you work hard in this community and something goes wrong or doesn't go the right way that they might like it. The system, you could be having a roof over your head one day and everything can be gone the next day. Exactly. If you don't have the right representative. So elaborate on that story for me. I remember you said how you how you acquired your, beautiful home, your sister and everything. And it's sad to see that your story could be someone else. So tell our viewers a little bit more.
Yeah, I say a lot that my community raised me. And what I really mean is that my community helped me stay in Ozone Park. When my sister was 8 years old, she was diagnosed with leukemia. And my father, who is still a taxi driver and was a taxi driver then, was the only sole income in our home. And my mom was at my sister's bedside while she was going through radiation and chemotherapy. And we were really struggling to pay. We were renters at the time. We were really struggling to pay rent. And our schools saw that. Our community members saw that. Our community-based organizations, our elected officials saw that. And they put together a fundraiser to raise money for our family to offset bills. We raised so much money that we were able to use a small portion of that to put a down payment on the home that we own right now. Now, we know that the taxi medallion crisis in New York City has been terrible because our city refuses to take responsibility for the predatory lending that happened with all of the sales of medallions. Now, a medallion is like a small business ownership of your taxi. And what ended up happening was all of these immigrants who really wanted to own a small business and be able to retire purchased a medallion. Right. And they were sold this idea of a ticket to the middle class life, but what they got was extreme debt and high interest rates. So flash forward to 2015, 2013, where Uber and Lyft entered
that
New York
already
City,
put a pressure
that
on
already
it.
put a pressure because Uber and Lyft didn't have to purchase medallions, you know. And I'm not talking about the drivers. I'm talking about the corporation who also treat their drivers terribly because they don't actually pay their drivers a fair wage, and they're gig workers, so they don't even have a union. They don't have anyone fighting for them, bargaining for them at this point. And so you have all of these drivers on the road and not enough people taking taxis in New York City. So of course, taxi drivers who are medallion owners are going to lose money dramatically. You know, it would take my dad about 5 to 7 hours to come home with $40 in his pocket. Wow. And of course, he had to file for bankruptcy in 2019, November of 2019. The bank, the lender, seized our medallion in the middle of the pandemic, and we were unemployed for 3 months during this pandemic. And then the United States Bankruptcy Court put a for sale sign on my house without any notice on February 5th, 2021.
Well, that is very sad. But the way you purchased that home, right? Isn't there some clause in there that they couldn't go after that?
Because it was a Chapter 7 bankruptcy, that was what the file was. What ended up happening was the bankruptcy court had to look for equity, something that was equal to us filing for bankruptcy, and that was our home. And that was the saddest part of this whole entire process, because we didn't file for foreclosure. This was literally them saying, hey, your home is valued at more than you and the dignity of your life, and we'll take that.
Right.
Right.
And this is what banks are actually doing. So we need representative. We need someone to listen to your story and help you and guide you. Now, when it comes to guiding you throughout the steps on what can you do to save your home, do you feel like our community, thanks to our community, first of all, because, you know, we are strong, united, we always prosper. Right. And, you know, when there's a need, that's when we always come together. And thanks to the community for your beautiful home, which, you know, we should petition and we could get this taken care of.
I wish that was how it worked. But unfortunately, with the United States Bankruptcy Court, what ends up happening is the judge hands it over to a trustee. And trustees make profit over the loss of people's homes, the loss of their equity. It's always a business transaction for someone. Exactly. You know, trustees get 6%, anywhere the highest 6 to 7% off of a deal, off of a settlement. So we were able to, of course, recently, actually just 2 weeks now, save our home, and settle for repurchasing our home essentially for $150,000. We had to take out 2 loans though to do that work. So either you go in extreme debt or you get evicted from your home.
You have to choose, and it's always a tough choice.
It's always.
But you know, you feel like you were getting the guidance. You feel like the people are representing you for city council and stuff. You think they were there for you to walk you through?
It was really sad because the people with the most, I called everyone who I knew had some power or influence in our city government. I even spoke to the mayor, and no one knew what to do. You know why? Because they didn't realize how close to home this crisis would be in 2021 based on the negligence of the medallion crisis. It was a huge revelation that, hey, people we know, people running for office who are already having a hard time as women, as a woman of color running in a district like the only Republican district in Queens, could be impacted by the medallion crisis. And it was a really, you know, most people who I spoke to who have power were silent in regards to what we could do,
because they're worried that they might say the wrong thing, and then it becomes a publicity.
And not even that. It was like there's no program right now or no system set up to help people with the bankruptcy process. That's the problem. So we don't want New Yorkers filing for bankruptcy. We need to stop that process. But even if you do, there's no real system set up to help families. So we had to find our own lawyer and pay for that. There was no lawyer that could be able to do this pro bono because we were so far ahead in our bankruptcy. process.
Well, we're hoping that with your story and your inspiration, we could stop this and we could get some more guidance for our homeowners out there, because it's sad to see that you work so hard to build your home, to get your family established, and this could happen to you. You could just be lost in the system.
Exactly.
You know, it's very sad indeed. Let's go back with Select the Both and the Ones and his Twos, because I know he have a beautiful song set aside, and we'll be back with the beautiful Felicia Singh running for City Council District 32. Let's rock and roll.
Baby, you're the one I never thought I'll be, saying from my heart how I feel. Ever since we met, I fell in love with you. You being in my life is a dream come true. Oh baby, I'll never ever make you cry. I'll never say goodbye. I wipe your tears away. I just want to say, oh, I'll never leave you and go away. No, I'll never leave you and go away. Oh, what we have together is for eternity.
Rohini Chatal, how you doing? Chandralal, good evening to you. And yes, DJ Bold is in the studio tonight. Definitely you'll get some good music to rock to. Sunita Ram, thank you very much for all your customized cake. Call the beautiful Sunita Ram. She made a beautiful cake and I still didn't get the chance to post the picture. So thank you, Chandralal. Beautiful indeed. Thinking of you guys when I'm putting my background together. The background should let you feel a little bit relaxed because after coming home from a hard days of work, you could imagine yourself being on a lake, which I'll be this weekend, you know. Auntie Nalini, good evening to you. How you doing? Where's Uncle Michael? Chandra, thank you. The beautiful Razia Hussain, and she's saying hello to Felicia. And guys, you should get to know your district leaders, your, you know, who are running. Go online, and I believe the website is where you can know more of your elections.
It's Felicia2021.com.
Read up about her because every day on my feed I'm seeing where you're going and what you're doing, and you are really doing all the work out there. I'm not sure if you're just in District 32 or you're all, you know,
just in District 32. That's where I'm. And let me just say the neighborhoods for folks who are listening. Hello, everyone. Welcome. So great to be on the show. I'm Felicia Singh. You can check out more about my my journey and my story at Felicia2021.com. But I'm representing District 32, City Council District 32. That's Ozone Park. That's some parts of Richmond Hill up to about 110th Street, not very much of it. South Ozone Park, Woodhaven, we've got Howard Beach, we've got Broad Channel, and we've got most of the Rockaways. I don't have very much of Far Rockaway, but I have from Beach 83rd Street all the way down to Breezy Point, all the way at the end.
Wow, guys, yes. So that's a lot of coverage for most of you. Hey, Bansi Persaud, get online. Go and learn more about Felicia Singh. Know where is your district. You know, type in your zip code. It'll tell you the zoning of your district and who's your representative. And it's always good to see and, you know, open the doors because I know you've been doing door to door.
I have been doing door knocking. That's right.
Right. Chandralal said, well, a lot of family faces this situation. It's sad, and, you know, you guys can relate to it. Bansi, thank you very much. Auntie Nalini, thank you. Mr. Harry Shivdat, a really good friend of mine. Stanley Ramsaran, Nena Chulilal. How are you doing? Stanley, thank you very much. The president of the Queens Community Lions Club, Mr. Inderjeet Paul. I always try to bring guests who you guys can relate to. You know, we all struggle during these times, and these are struggles that we can avoid. You know, someone, you need guidance, you need help. And who's the best when it comes to getting this help? Who's the guidance in our organization or community?
You know, it just really depends on where you fall and based on what you need help with. You know, we have civic associations in Ozone Park and throughout District 32. We have block associations that really offer different aids. Then you have the city agencies that also are supposed to support, but our city agencies don't work for everyone. And this is not about like you working for a city agency as an individual. Really, this is about our systems. And our systems need changing here in New York City because they do not work for our most working class communities. If you speak a different language, our city doesn't offer a language translation services. If you're someone who is undocumented, we need more funding for our nonprofits to help aid families and individuals in applying for their citizenship. This is the work that I'm hoping to do in City Council representing all of us.
That's right. She represents most of us, and by her having a seat at the table, you know, we have good representation. Right. Mr. Harry Shivdat said the city should buy the medallions. I hope that will solve the problem.
I mean, so the mayor just released a plan for medallion debt relief. However, the plan would cost us way more money over time, and it only allows for the restructuring of about $20,000 of debt. This is nowhere near the need that we have. You know, New York Taxi Workers Alliance was a taxi workers union that my father has been a part of since he started driving a taxi in the late 1980s. They have a plan for our city to restructure debt at $125,000. and with an interest rate of 4%, and we would be paying less than $800 a month. But that is not the plan our mayor chose. Our mayor chose a plan that actually benefits lenders than it does people, and that's a shame. So now when I go into city council, hopefully with your vote, if you're in District 32, what'll end up happening is we'll have to reverse all of this damage, all of this waste of spending money with a program that doesn't even work for all of us to now fix it again.
Wow, that is sad. Chandra, thank you very much. Veronica Singh, how are you doing? Thank you guys very much. Where is beautiful Veronica Jaglal, an Apache warrior, wonderful friends and supporter of Shanaz Musical Sensation. Guys, thank you. It's really nice having you back here, Veronica. Parvati Prabhu, always looking fantastic. And good afternoon to Mr. Uncle Michael. Let's rock and roll. Select the boulders on the ones and the twos. And I know Felicia has another appointment. You're quite booked, but we're going to get all the information you need to go out and vote. Early voting starts June. We're in June already.
Yes.
The 12th of June. That is
this
2
Saturday.
days away. Saturday.
So
wow.
crazy.
And I will definitely try to vote before I go out of town.
Yes, please make sure you vote. That's right.
Because during the week we're also swamped. You know, guys, instead of going out this weekend, make it your duty to go out and vote. You know, it's 2021. Time for a change. And by changing, we mean you going out there and striking that vote, you know?
Exactly.
We need your voice. Bibi Khan, how you doing? Parvati, thank you very much. So let's rock and roll with Select the Bold.
Baby, you're the one I never thought I'll be saying from my heart how I feel. Ever since we met, I fell in love with you. You being in my life is a dream come true. Oh baby, I'll never ever make you cry. I'll never say goodbye. I wipe your tears away. I just want to say, oh, I'll never leave you and go away. No, I'll never leave you and go away. Oh, what we have together is for eternity. No, I'll never leave you and go away. No,
the voice of Stephen Rampal. And yes, you saw it last week on Shanaz Musical Sensation, our Spectrum TV channel 96, every Saturday, 4:30 p.m. Savagery Bailey.
Never gonna leave you. Never gonna leave you. Never gonna leave you. I promise you with all of my heart I'll be
my handsome cousin in Toronto, Fizal Khan.
dreams. I'll never make you unhappy.
Kawaka Sarinam.
I want to be the man that you dream of. I want to be the shoulder you lean on. Oh.
Guys, this is our big Father's Day show. Tribute to all the fathers. Yes, we have Trinidad and Tobago's very own Mr. Viram. We have the beautiful Malahari Persaud from Toronto. All the way from Suriname, Mr. Adams, Ryan Adams, that's right. And Toronto, Tiny Betty, and all the way representing homeland Guyana, Mr. Nishal B. Tassif Bax from New York, Sonia Chandani from New York, and a lot of wonderful singers. We have Ravi D and the beautiful Amanda, all the way from Guyana, Sangeet Rhythms. Love is in the air, and my love is always in the air for each and every one of you, sharing nothing but love, and more love, bringing you some entertainment on Shanaz Musical Sensation. That is our next week's program, guys. Mark your calendar. Next week, June 17th, is our Father's Day tribute. Rashid Bacchus in New Jersey.
I'll never say goodbye.
Rafina Hanef. Farida Kisoon. An SMS will never leave you and go away. I'll take you wherever I go, so stay tuned for my live from around the world.
Until it's gone, you don't know what you have. Until it's gone, now you're up and gone away, baby. Didn't wanna stay, baby. I wasn't the play, baby. I just want you here, baby. Where you really want me to. Should I know my love for you is true? Girl,
you been tell me that?
The beautiful Shanaz Hussain, we could sit down and dance too.
Girl, you been tell me that you never gonna leave.
Thank you, Veronica.
Girl, you been tell me that you never gonna
Canada in the house.
leave. Girl, you been tell me that you never gonna leave.
Sheriff Mohammed, Prakash Jag Mohan, Nena Chunilao.
When you listen to the lies that they filling you inside, girl,
Princess Amin, brand new Father's Day song coming up next week.
we unhappy. When you listen to the lies that they filling you inside, girl, don't believe. They go try everything to make we unhappy.
Beautiful meaning, of course.
Oh, jealous people want we only end up in fight. Tell they wanna fool you, saying I ain't doing you right. Caught up of me, girl, you know the truth.
And we have Mr. Fayul shaking his shoulders.
Tell me that you never.
Lashman Persaud.
It's your boy Ahmed Khanagate, Professor Bunty Studios. We come in and give up the night. She went in.
Pax, happy birthday to you, coming from your beautiful sisters and brothers who's living in Enterprise. So Pax, happy birthday to you. Parvati Prabhu, Shanaz Hussain, Bibi Dana Ryan. Let's go back to talking with our beautiful district. She's running for City Council District 32, NYC City Council District 32 candidate. No other than the beautiful Felicia Singh. Ladies and gentlemen, share the link, share the love as we're getting to know her a little bit more, because you guys have been seeing her doing all the knocking on the doors, you know, her campaigning.
Yes.
And tell me, from when you weren't in this position of running for being a candidate, running for district leader, what do you expect them to do in that position?
So city council is a city level, local level position, and we have 3 large responsibilities among many other things, but we decide how public land is used in New York City. We approve the New York City budget, which is proposed by state and our mayor, and that's a budget of $100 billion. And then lastly, we make sure that our city agencies are working for the people. So when they're not, we demand data from them. We hold them accountable by having them come to have a hearing at the city council level. We change laws and legislation for city agencies to work better on our behalf. And I also would be like fixing potholes and stuff and making sure we have stop signs.
And you know, that is important for me, because I hate to have a flat tire driving around Liberty Avenue and, you know, in Queens. It's important we have good roads.
Right.
You know, I believe they're doing a good job right now. I know the traffic in NYC is a little bit, you know, congested. But because of all the infrastructure, you know, we have to bear with them. Things normally get worse before they get better. So, you know, changes are happening, and we need bigger changes. We need someone that look like us on the table. So, guys, go out there and vote. And, you know, I'm proud to say we have so many women candidates running for district leaders and city council leaders and all these wonderful positions. I have my beautiful friend. I have Soma running for city council judge, you know, county judge. All of them, they're getting my love, they're getting my support. So big up, 2021 is Women's Year.
Yes, and you know why it's so important that more women are in office? New York City, 52% of New York City's population is comprised of women. And City Council, we have 51 seats. About 12 of them are held by women. Just 12. My City Council District 32 has never been represented by a woman. It has never been represented by a person of color. We have zero South Asian representation in City Council. I am both Guyanese and Punjabi. We don't have any representation at the City Council level representing both communities. So your support, whether you're donating at Felicia2021.com, if you're volunteering with us, please do that, or sharing our story on social media, or telling a friend in Ozone Park to vote for me. You know, this is the work. This is what's going to happen. We need representation for our communities who understand exactly what needs to be fixed in regards to our systems.
That's right, guys. And by you sharing this live on this link right now, will bring more awareness to who Felicia Singh is and what district she's running for and what she stands for. And I know you stand for so many things. Tell her when that is soon, when she get into office. And, you know, it's happening. This is happening. Yusuf, thank you very much. When you get in there and get in that seat, what's your first change, or what are you looking to, alter a little bit, make better?
My platform, and we call our platform My Agenda for Justice. And it's very intersectional. It's very interconnected with education. I'm a teacher. I've been teaching for the last 10 years. So most of my career, most of my time has been in our schools, abroad. I served the United States of America in the Peace Corps, where I taught in China.
I was about to say, I saw your trip to China, and you've been around the world.
I've been around the world. So I've been observing different types of systems and how they work for people and how they don't. So one of the biggest things that I'm hoping to do at the city council level is making sure that our schools have enough funding, fully funding our schools, so that our kids have a just transition back to learning full time. That is incredibly important. I want to increase the dual language programs. In District 32, we only have 7, but we have 3 of our top largest languages are Spanish, Bangla, and Chinese. We have 0 dual language programs in Chinese in our district. This is about seeing our communities and raising our people of color, our communities of color up, lifting us up in ways across all platforms. I also have a large environmental resiliency program, policy platform on my website. And the reason why I talk about our environment, just like in Guyana is a coastal district that is prone to flooding.
Right now,
as
we
had just said.
Major flooding.
But we do not talk enough about the climate crisis in correlation to the flooding.
Right.
All of the carbon emissions every single country across this world is putting out puts coastal countries and communities like Guyana, like Trinidad and Tobago, at risk of disappearing by 2050.
Wow.
If New York City doesn't reduce our carbon emissions dramatically by 2030 and the latest 2050, we will see floods like no tomorrow. And our communities, our Southern Queens communities, will disappear. And guess who lives in our Southern Queens community? Guyanese people.
Folks, brown folks,
who left Guyana, a coastal country, to live in another one for a better opportunity, only to face the same issues here in New York City.
Wow. So guys, vote for Felicia Singh, because we need more candidates like you representing us out there and, put a stop to climate change. We need our bigger representatives to go forward. I know a lot of talk being in the air that, climate change, climate control. What are they doing about these things that's actually happening right in front of our eyes around all, the countries are experiencing flooding.
Yes.
Major climate control. I mean, we're having winter in certain countries that's not supposed to be.
Right, exactly.
I mean, this is a wake-up call for, our politicians out there who can control the funding, who know what to do with it.
Right.
What would you see done getting in District 32?
So, first of all, there's so many things that we can do. At the most local level, you as an individual play a large role in reducing our carbon emissions. So composting is one way to reduce carbon emissions. And composting is literally taking all the food you guys don't eat at home every day, putting it in a container, and our city will pick up, Department of Sanitation will pick up this compost once a week or twice a week. For curbside composting, which our Mayor de Blasio recently reinstated, you have to manually go and apply. And we use this compost as a way to really grow crops, to grow food, grow our gardens here in New York City. And that reduces the carbon emissions because your scraps are not going in the regular garbage with plastic and metal and other kinds of waste. We're using it, we're recycling and reusing. Right. So that's what you could do at the most personal level. At the city level, in regards to resiliency, I want to make sure we have economic recovery. So what this would look like is we need to invest in climate jobs. Align for Greater New York, which is an organization, a coalition of community-based organizations across New York City, want New York City to invest in climate jobs. So for example, if we invest $1 billion in renewable energy, that gives us about 17,000 jobs.
Wow.
That's 17,000 jobs, union jobs that our Guyanese community could be working in right here in South Queens.
Job opportunities.
That is the type of economic recovery, climate crisis mitigation that we need to be investing in as communities. And those are jobs that all of our community members could be doing right now, right here at home.
guys, we need to get Felicia Singh in there. And I see the president of the Queens Community Lions Club is already celebrating your win. He's saying boom, so let's get Felicia in there.
That's right.
And thank you guys very much. Parvati Prabhu, Veronica, thank you very much. Princess Zamin, how you doing? Thank you guys for tuning in and sharing our link and love. I know a lot of folks don't like too much of the talking, but without talking, you don't know. I hate talking to someone. I say, do you know who this person is? She's in your district. And if you said no, that's it. That's my end of conversation. I'm not going to stop and explain. These are things that you should be, as an individual living in certain district, know who your city council candidate is.
Right.
Know what they stand for.
Right.
Don't say, okay, I'm living in Richmond Hill, but I don't know who's this person.
And I want to also send a message to folks, because I know our community and being involved in politics is one people don't want to be involved in. They say, oh man, I don't do politics. That's not for me. That's too much corruption.
And a lot of ladies are not going out there to vote.
Right.
You're just talking about how many women are actually having a seat up there. But how many women actually go out and vote, you know?
Right.
We all want a citizenship. What are we doing with being a citizenship?
That's a great point. And you know what's really important is, yes, if you don't want to get political, but I want you to think about this. Everything we have and everything we do not have is a political decision made by someone else. I'm going to repeat that. Everything you have and everything you don't have was a political decision made by somebody else. Your right to health care, somebody else made that decision. Whether or not you have a good paying job, somebody else made that decision. Whether or not your trash is picked up on time, somebody else made that decision. So when you don't vote, you're allowing someone else to make decisions on your behalf.
Right.
And when you do vote and you choose the person you love, please hold them accountable. Hold me accountable. Check me when I'm not doing my job. That is, I'm here to serve you. Our elected officials should not be showing up to our mandirs and our masjids and our churches.
Only when it's election
Only
time.
when it's an election to ask for something, but they're not there when we need them the most. You know, I saw when our streets were renamed Little Guyana Avenue, right? That was amazing. That was so cool. That's not in District 32. It's in District 28. But still, amazing and historical. And there were so many people who came and congregated and celebrated. I wish we did the same thing for politics when it comes to moving our legislators and our elected officials to fund excluded workers, people who are undocumented but didn't get a stimulus check in the United States, in New York City. Where was our community needs to show up when our roads aren't fixed and demand more? Our community needs to show up when we have high rates of domestic violence in our communities.
And outreach centers.
Outreach centers, community centers, show up the same way we celebrate street renamings. We have to show up for our community the same way, because that's how we regain our power.
That's right. And I believe in supporting our schools, put more funding into schools, because, you know, everyone is moving out of your district, certain district in Richmond Hill area, you know, because they're moving to Long Island. Oh, it's better schools over there. The first thing you look into when you're buying a property or renting, the school district. So we need better schools to get more residents, you know, and our community, to build our community. So guys, it all matters of who you appoint in district. Your district matters. So vote for Felicia Singh. I see a lot of folks are giving the love. Kamla Persaud in Ontario, how you're doing? The beautiful. Thank you, thank you. Let's rock and roll with Mahen. How you doing? Abid Hussein. Good evening to Mr. Harry Shivdat, Veronica. Let's go with Select the Bolt and the ones and the twos, and we'll be right back as we wrap. We have to wrap it up with Felicia. She has another appointment. Stay tuned.
Went inside she room and cried for she boyfriend. When she get the message, it was all about the end. 2 weeks now and you can't stop the pain. You know for sure you gonna never see again. She went inside she room and cried for she boyfriend. When she get the message, it was all about the end. 2 weeks now and you can't stop the pain. You know for sure you gonna never see me again. She went inside she room and cried for she boyfriend. girl, you're never wrong. Thinking that the love was too strong. Now all the plans she had, making she feel more sad. Every little things you get done bad. Oh, feelings never grow on trees. Feelings of memories. Feelings never grow on trees. Feelings of memories.
My girl, call me, tell me it's over. Call me, tell me it's over.
That was the voice of Amir Khan.
Into a girl, but I swear I don't want no other. My girl, call me,
Abid Hussain.
over. Calling me, telling me it's over. Said she hit that I've been talking to a girl, but I swear was a real big rumor. My baby, please don't
Lisa Bisoon.
go away.
Sing, how you doing?
Hey, people trying to break up me and you. Them just can't see we living happy. You know,
The beautiful Christina Lam.
I ain't done with flirting. Why them
Rohini Chatal.
why they fighting?
Cheryl
I
Lam.
can't see myself live.
Guys, please share the link on your Facebook page.
Baby, this love is just between me.
And if your friends are joining me, I will definitely see their comments as well. Karen Anderson, how you doing?
My love for you is pure and true. Nobody can come between us two. Love you, I love you, yeah, I do. Baby, no matter what them say, you do. My love for you is pure and true.
Well, I believe Felicia would like to give a special hello to someone special on the live.
Chuck Mohan, what's up?
Good afternoon, Mr. Chuck. And Abid, how you doing? Veronica Singh, good afternoon, good afternoon. Thank you guys for tuning in to Shanaz Musical as I'm trying to get all the comments. I hate missing you guys' comments, so keep it locked. Let's go. Hurry, shift that. Thank you very much for always supporting Shanaz Musical Sensation. A lot of good things are coming your way, so follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and something new coming your way also. So you never know where I'll be broadcasting from, so keep it locked.
Oh, them just can't see we living happy. You know what? We're lying done with flirting. Why they fighting for? Why they fighting for? I can't see myself.
Chitra, how you doing? Good evening, good evening. And the beautiful Chandra Lal, Chico Hitram, how you doing? Thank you very much. I'll get to all the comments as we go. Hey, Nadia Singh, how you doing? Thank you very much. Princess Zamin Anand Siram, thank you very much for joining me. Big things are happening, of course. I'm glad you got the link in Toronto. Let's rock and roll. You're tuning in to Shanaz Musical Sensation. We're going to start dancing in just a bit, but I know Felicia has another appointment, and I want you guys to get to know her better. I want her to tell you all about herself so you could relate to some situations that, you know, you might be experiencing as well. So I'm glad that your sister also is doing much better. We talked earlier about her. Right. She's also a teacher.
Yes, that's right. Wow, you did great. You did your homework.
When I know someone and I know you stand for something, I read up on it, you know, and she's doing a wonderful job, you know, I need more representation for the teachers because they are essential in our schools.
That's right.
And I'm sure you were her inspiration, you know.
Thank you.
So tell us a little bit more about your platform before you leave.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm running on an agenda for justice. That looks like fully funding our schools. You know, we were just talking, Shanaz and I were just talking about how our schools actually build our communities, and our communities build our schools. And our families, when they look to buy their first home, they're looking for a good school district. So that's why it's so important that we fully fund all of our public schools equitably. You know, not all of our schools have the same amount of money. And we want to make sure that schools in District 27 school, which is a school district in City Council District 32, has equitable funding for all of our children at the high school level, at the middle school level, and at the elementary school level. That's number one. Number two, we want to make sure our climate crisis we're mitigating our climate crisis and reducing our carbon emissions. So that's why I have a climate and environmental resilience plan on my website. It's why I talk about it so often. It's because our planet, our Earth, is something we need to take care of. It's our home.
Let's start recycling. That's something we could start from home.
Yes.
And, I'm doing my composting, so I'm trying to come. If you look in the studio, I have bottles I'm saving because I don't feel like throwing it out in the garbage and the trash. That's a little part of our contribution, but it means a lot. If we all chipped in a little bit by saving, I have a Ziploc bag or a brown paper bag in the kitchen. You put all your peels, your onion peel, which is very good for your garden to begin with. If your compost, make it your garden stuff, make it compost, and we're reusing. By reusing, we're saving our environment.
Yeah, if you could take all of your food scraps and actually apply for curbside composting pickup, Department of Sanitation will come to your block and they will come and pick up all of those scraps from your home personally. You just have to enroll on the city website in New York City, and that's it. And that's one way of mitigating the climate crisis, which is so convenient because we throw away food every single day.
A lot of food, all the peelings. You're peeling potato. That is so good for your garden. Onion peels, and I've become, it's a habit. I can't peel anything without putting it in my compost bag or throw it in the garden. So guys, it's a small habit you guys could get used to. And yes, we can all be contributing to our climate changes. Let's all contribute. Many hands make light work.
Exactly. And I want to also talk about like home ownership and being a renter. Sometimes our city elected officials feel like they have to choose between renters and homeowners. District 32, again, which are neighborhoods like Ozone Park, some parts of Richmond Hill, South Ozone Park, Woodhaven, and the Rockaways, encompasses a lot of 1 to 2 family homes. And the best way that we could really reduce the amount of money it takes to own a home, to own a property, is actually by doing some of these things, but not, and more. It's abolishing the tax lien sale placed on homes. South Queens has one of the highest levels of tax lien sales on our homes than anywhere else in New York City. And a tax lien sale is when the city puts a tax lien on your home when you cannot pay your property tax and when you can't pay utilities. And that tax lien means that a trust owns your home, and New York City gets 70 cents to $1 on your home being placed on a lien. And what ends up happening is predatory lenders, based on our New York City law, they have to list all of the homes that have tax liens, and then predatory lenders come to your home and they say, hey, we know you're about to lose your house because you can't pay your property tax, you can't pay your utility. Here's $500,000 with X amount of interest rate.
It's a business process,
and then you end up going in debt because you're trying to save your home when we just need to get rid of the tax lien sale in New York City. The other way we want to promote home ownership and a space for renters is by legalizing basements. I know there are a lot of Guyanese people listening that rent out their basement to their family and friends, but they do it secretly as another form of income because you're scared because there's no basement legalization. With basement legalization, rezoning the height requirement for basements for the ceiling,
and you could meet those requirements.
Right, exactly. And being able to do this citywide would allow for renters to have a place to stay and homeowners to be able to make some money that'll go towards their mortgage.
And sometimes it's a family member you really want to give that step up to, to help them with getting up in life. Sometimes you can meet all the requirements like double entrance and exits.
And still, it's thousands of dollars. But with the basement legalization, this really helps expand the affordability of legalizing your basement.
That's right. Rohini Chatal, thank you very much. Abid Hari Shivdat, how you doing? Yes, it's a vicious cycle that we're talking about. Hey, Mr. Mac Patel, how are you doing? Thank you guys for joining us on Shanaz Musical Sensation. Well, Felicia, feel free to join us, guys. Give her good luck. Share the live, share the love. Go out and vote. And if you know someone living in her district that she listed before, please share the link to them and encourage them to go out and vote. Early voting start this Saturday, June 12th, all the way to June 22nd.
Correct.
Get out there. Please hashtag Felicia Singh. Send me your pictures of you voting, and I would love to see it on Facebook. As you did last time, do it hashtag me, send me a picture, and I would love to see you guys going out there and vote. Hey, Bobby, how you doing? Thank you. Yes. And Felicia, thank you again for stopping by. Feel free.
Shanaz.
Thank you to Mr. Fayuz.
Thank you,
Ali,
Fayuz.
shaking the shoulders,
you.
bringing in the right candidate because he know you'll make a difference. You will represent us. We need to have that seat at the table. And week after week, I bring you potential candidate who I know could do that for you. This week we have Felicia Singh.
Yes.
Go out and vote, District 32.
Yes, and again, Felicia Singh, I'm a teacher, proud daughter of working class immigrants. You could check out my website at felicia2021.com. On Instagram, it's Felicia Singh 2021. I'm also on Facebook if you type in Felicia Singh to find me and like my page. 3 ways you can support us right now. You can donate at felicia2021.com. You can volunteer. Please volunteer. We need people at poll sites. We need people helping us knock on doors, canvassing, talking to small businesses. Or third, you can just tell a friend that lives in District 32 to vote.
That is the easiest thing to do.
Yes.
Go out there, tell a friend to vote. You know, your voice matters. Our community matters. So get out there, support Felicia Singh, and all the information will be in our live. So you guys could go back after my program, of course.
Yes.
Click on the link and you'll see who Felicia Singh is and, you know, how you could contribute to her campaign. So thank you very much, Felicia Singh, for stopping by. Good luck in advance, and I'm hoping to see you at our celebration party.
Yes, me too. Thank you.
So guys,
take care.
Keep it locked. Let's go and select the both and the ones and the twos. Beautiful balloon arrangement for any occasion, holiday, birthday, or graduation. Balloons done by Annie. Call us at 347-654-0118. Annie's Balloon Arrangement, 347-654-0118.
I've been having so much problem, and I don't know how to solve them. Since I found you, I'm happy, and you bring my whole life around. Always there when I'm feeling down. Since I found you, I'm happy. Where you been? My Johnny walk away. Where you been? I don't want no water. Where you been? I will love you forever.
You're watching Shanaz Musical Sensation on the famous John from Queens YouTube channel. Continue supporting our #1 YouTuber, John from Queens. I'm yours truly, Shanaz Hussain.